Well, it's good, YouTube. So, today I wanted to talk about the law of diminishing returns and the critical drop off point. They go very close together, and this can be applied to a lot of different things. So, let's go into it. One, what is the law of diminishing returns? Basically, it's when the output you were once giving is not giving the same result back, right? And actually the output that you were once giving is costing you more than what you're getting in return, right? So if before I was putting, let's say $10 into a certain product and I was receiving, what I put in plus a little bit more, but then to a certain point I was actually putting $10 in, I was only receiving $5. That would be, the law of diminishing returns. My return is getting diminished the more I'm putting in, right? So let's say for a workout, if I'm working out, you got to be under 60 minutes. Why? It's because anything over 60 minutes, your stress hormones are still increasing, but your testosterone goes down. Therefore, you'd call it like a catabolic state, or basically a non-productive way to, build muscle through like a hormonal way, because your testosterone is going down, your stress level is going up. So that's like muscle breakdown, So diminishing returns would be, okay, I'm putting in this work, right? Let's say 45 minutes, your testosterone is, doing good. Your stress hormone is still going up, but your testosterone is doing good, right? That's when you should call the workout right there. But instead you want, oh no, I'm gonna do some extra work. I'm gonna put in some extra reps, Now we're going in, let's say it's 60, 70, 90 minutes of training, hard training. You think you're doing more, you think you're gonna get more out of it, but really the return is getting diminished after 60 minutes, right? So that's just one example. So that's in the overarching thing of it. But then in the moment, there's something called the critical drop-off point. And that's basically, let's say I have written 6 sets, right? And the first 4 sets are doing real good. My weights are going up. But then my 5th set, I hit a certain weight where my reps cut in half or whatever, right? Let's say they cut in half with that weight, and I'm like, okay, I have either option. I have either to try to do it with the same weight on the 6th set, or on the 6th set, I drop the weight and try to get the reps. Either one, for the example, right? But the whole idea is that, let's say you keep the weight, but now you can only get 2 reps, right? So you went from, let's say 8 reps, the first 4 sets, the 5th set, you're at 4 reps, then you get 2 reps. What was the drop off between the 8 reps on the first 4 sets compared to the last 2 sets? That's a pretty big drop off, right? And actually you got nothing out of that because the drop off was so big, right? And by constantly doing that over and over again, you get diminishing returns, right? So we need to figure out, or we need to understand within ourselves, where is the critical drop-off point for anything in life, not just working out. Let's say we're basketball example, let's say we're shooting threes, hundreds of threes, right? And we're getting quality reps for the first 100 threes. But then as we start getting into 150 shots, whatever, the rate of progress goes down, actually starts going negative, and our percentages are going down. We should call the workout before it gets that critical drop-off point, because once you hit that critical drop-off point, then there's no going back. You're actually degressing in terms of whatever you're doing if you hit that critical drop-off point. So we need to be aware of where our critical drop-off point is, and then we need to be able to stop before we hit that. Because once we hit that, it's kind of over. So let's say for work, let's say you know, 50 hours a week of work, we can do quality work, right? Quality work. But our critical drop-off point, let's say, is at 60. If we know that, then we can better plan, more productivity, because the more productive you are, then the more efficiently you can get things done. But if we think, we're going to be quote unquote more productive, I'm going to do 100 hours of a week of work, or 70 or whatever, we're going past that critical drop-off point. We're actually getting diminishing returns, so we need to think about that for everything. And why does this matter is because everybody wants a quick fix to building more muscle, getting a better jump shot, getting rich, whatever. And they think, that's why all these like motivational people are fucking bullshit. Like, all you need to do is work hard, work more, and you'll get to what you want, which is a lie. Because based off of the law of diminishing returns and the critical drop-off point, if you do too much, then you're actually degressing. You're not getting anything out of it. You have to hit the sweet spot. So let's say you want to get more money. Fucking Jocko or whatever, or what's that dude's name? David Goggins says you gotta work until you black out. No, that's Kobe, but same thing. You gotta keep on working until like you can't work anymore. 100-hour weeks, all this type of stuff. Even if your critical drop-off point is, let's say, 60 or 50, what are we doing? Then we're trying to get instant gratification. We want it now. We want it right now. So what do? I need to do a bunch of bad reps, bad quality reps, thinking that doing more is going to elicit more. But no, it's actually going to take away, and you're actually going to be at a worse off point than when you first started. What do we need to focus on? We need to focus on delayed gratification. Why? Why does delayed gratification, the law of diminishing returns, and the critical drop-off point all connected? It's because we know we're not going to get it in one day, in 1 week, even in 1 year. But over time, if we keep on pushing ourselves just to the point of the critical drop-off, without going over it, but just to the point, consistently over time, we actually take out the law of diminishing returns, and we actually just take in, all the winnings, you know what I'm saying? But you just need to be aware of where your critical drop-off point is and how consistently you can do it without going over it. And by doing that, you can almost master or get anything you want, So if I want to make more money, my critical drop-off point is 60 hours a week. Okay, let's go 55, 6 days out of the week. 5-6 days out the week for 3 years. That's how you get that money up, Or training. I want to lose 100 pounds or whatever. But the critical drop-off point would be doing, let's say, 5 workouts a week at 60 minutes, we'll say. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to do 4 workouts every week consistently for the next year or 2 years, and get my nutrition right and lock in everything where I'm not overexerting myself. I'm not trying to get everything so quick. I know it's going to be the long game. So that's why I'm not overdoing it. I'm just doing the right amount. And once you do the right amount, that's how you get the result. So just think about this with anything that comes, anything that somebody's struggling with. The critical drop-off point, delayed gratification, the law of diminishing returns. If you're playing within your critical drop-off point, you're delaying your gratification, you will never have, I'm not going to say never because maybe you might, but you're very unlikely to have diminishing returns on whatever you're putting in. You're actually going to take in double what you're putting in as long as it's quality. So just think about that.